What's up, Body Warriors? Welcome back to another video, another vlog. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, and maybe the surroundings give you an idea as to why. If you don't know, if you haven't caught up already, I'm currently renovating a house. This is the other job I do, and things are moving along quite well. I think, if anything, I'll link to the last vlog I did where I kind of shared this, but this was in pieces. This is coming closer to something that looks like a house. So needless to say, as kind of relation to this is I talked about, I've been kind of cutting back my training so I can spend more time doing this and also spend more recovery. Thinking about this, and speaking to some people, I think there was like the impression that maybe I'm being a little bit of a pansy, a bit of a wimp when it comes to like, oh, you're doing some physical work. Like lots of people do physical work all the time, still go to the gym, still do everything else. And I think it's important to consider this in the context of like making progress. And then maybe we can answer the question, why aren't you making progress? Because it's not always kind of what is presented out there online. I think the thing is that when you see most stuff that's presented online by influencers, I guess myself included in that, is you need to understand two things. Number one, most people who present fitness information on the internet, the only thing that they do is fitness or is training. So one, that removes a lot of the external stresses that are gonna impact on training recovery. And ultimately you're gonna have more time, more effort and more focus to dedicate to training. So you're probably gonna see pretty good results. And number two is people take gear. This isn't so much of an issue in the whole calisthenics space and really doesn't make much sense. What you see perpetrated out there in terms of how much training you should actually be doing, you gotta consider how many people are enhanced when they're saying this. For your average person, the average person, I'm gonna include myself in this one because at the end of the day, although I do fitness as a job, training as a job, I still spend a lot of my time doing other things such as this, and I also spend a lot of my time working on a computer because that's life these days. For your average person, I would say most people do too much. If you're not making progress with your training, the first thing that I would do if I was working with somebody is I would do less. Always take away first. The common opinion or the common instinct that you want to do is like, okay, I'm not making progress, I'm gonna work harder, I'm gonna do more. And that's a great attitude to have, but really the attitude should be, I'm gonna work harder and more focused, and I'm gonna cut out the fluff, cut out the stuff that is maybe detracting from the progress that I want to make. And that's kind of what I talked about in the last episode, is that I was saying that basically my training is going to be one upper body day a week, one lower body day a week, and a few sessions of handstands, and that's it. Took out all of the fluff that I could and just focused on the things that matter, because I knew I was expending other energy on other projects, and guess what? I'm still making progress, I'm still making gains, which ultimately is the best measure. You should be making progress most weeks that you turn up to train. Ultimately, as you get more advanced training, this progress is going to taper off, but you should see an improvement each session. If you're not, then it comes back to that kind of famous saying by Charles Poliquin, fatigue masks fitness. If you're always tired, if you're always beat up from whatever it is that you're doing, you're not going to be able to demonstrate your strength, your ability to move to your fullest capacity. That is why when you do powerlifting or you do any sort of athletic endeavors where you're competing, you always have a peaking phase, and that peaking phase where you're gonna basically display your best performance is really low volume. You're taking away stuff so that you can fully recover and fully express the strength that you're capable of. So yeah, number one, do less and see how the progress is. A little bit of a side note with this one, right here, is something that I haven't quite yet gone into detail, but this is gonna be a gym. An actual home gym. I kind of made a sarcastic video about a year and a half ago of like my home gym, because there were so many like home gym setups online that were like just ridiculous. People would spend like 50 grand, and fair enough, you got the money, you enjoy it, do that. And I was like, here's my home gym, literally have 2 dumbbells and some rings to do chin-ups on. And I still very much am on the mindset of like, you don't need much equipment to get good training, but this is my job at the end of the day. And I wanted to invest and be able to make better videos on this channel. So hopefully in here it's going to be a very small gym, but a place to film and have things set up constantly. So hopefully the quality of the videos increases as well. But also it's going to be a fun DIY project, which I do kind of want to share with you. So much like DIY, I guess, or renovations, you got to strip everything back to see what you've got, and you know, if you've done that, if you're not making progress with training and you've taken a lot of the excess stuff away and you're focusing on the things that matter, which, by the way, if you're not sure what those are, I've made 3 videos now on upper body flexibility and lower body, things that I think are worth training, so I'll link those down below. If you're doing that already and you're still not making progress, I'd be like, okay, now is the time where I would potentially add more training, but I would add more focus on the main movements, and also I would look at the quality of the work are you doing. What have you got, mate? The reason I say quality of work as well is because most people don't train hard enough. Now, this might not be the case with a lot of people who are watching this sort of video or who are really passionate about this, but a lot of people that you see at the gym realistically aren't training at an intensity which is going to produce the best results. So I think there was actually a really great video that was done by Jeff Nippard, fantastic creator on the channel, probably know of him already. If you don't, check him out. I'll link to the video I'm talking about specifically, but in that video, he looked at a study which looked at like actually how hard are people pushing themselves when we talk about reps in reserve. So reps in reserve is like if you did a set of 10, how many reps after that set could you do, for example? So you know, maybe if you could do 12, you're like to absolute failure, there'll be 2 reps in reserve in that set. And that's a good intensity for people to be working at. You should be able to do maybe 1 or 2 more if somebody literally had like a gun to your head forcing you to do it. But I think the results of this study found that actually like 30% of people could do like 14, 15, 16 reps with that 10 rep max weight that they thought they used. And actually a majority of people could do like 20 reps. And if you think about that, that's like the intensity of that set. If you're only doing 10 reps of something you can do 20 reps of, you're not really pushing and recruiting stuff to the maximum effort that you need to be doing to make some good progress with your training. So basically what this means is that for the majority of your working sets, you want to be working within 1 to 2 reps in reserve. And I really like the recommendation that Jeff made in that video, which was like, okay, when you get to the point that you think you've only got 2 more reps left in the tank, actually take that set to failure and say like, okay, I've got 2 left here, and then see how many more you can do. If you can do 3, 4, 5 more, then you know the intensity of that exercise isn't as intense as it should be to make the best training progress. The final thing is just to be very conscious about making sure you're applying progressive overload, making sure you're doing a little bit more in each session, whether that means that you need to do an extra rep in total. So if you're doing sets of pull-ups, 3 by 8, you know, maybe next time you do 8, 8, 9 or 9, 8, 8, whatever it is, you just do 1 more rep. That means you're doing more than last time. So it's improvement. And especially with bodyweight training, you need to be particularly aware of this one because it's a little bit more ambiguous than weight training. But really, I think if there's anything to take away from this video, I'd probably say that it's train harder and do it less often rather than doing more work and that work being of lower quality, especially when it comes to strength training. When we're talking about handstands, talking about flexibility, things are slightly different. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You alright, mate? That's basically it for this part of the video. I am currently cutting out this window. This is going to be a floor-to-ceiling window, so I'm cutting out this bottom bit, putting in this lintel above so the whole house doesn't fall down. And yeah, apart from that, like the rest of the house is looking pretty okay. I'm supposed to be moving in to this place in about 2 weeks' time, so that will be interesting. There will be some DIY sort of update stuff if those of you who are interested in it. I might make like an actual video dedicated to that and kind of share that. But in this one, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, focus on training the things that matter. Other than that, I hope your training, I hope your practice is going well in 2022. I hope you're staying focused and working towards those things that you want to achieve. Other than that, I'm going to crack on here and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a strong week. Peace.